funny how these things work out. Here I am today celebrating Black Cat Day and I have on a black shirt. Wasn't intended, just works out that way. Um, Again, looking at festivals for things to celebrate, who could believe that today would be the day of appreciation for the black cat? And I'm guessing that's because there must be a lot of people who feel that the role of the black cat in life has been somewhat sullied by the treating of them as cause for such suspicion. I've heard people who consider the presence of a black cat to be lucky, but many people consider it to be unlucky. They're associated with witches, they're associated with black magic, and I do feel empathy for black cats who have probably been much maligned. Now, is there a reason for their suspicion and for being treated in such a way? Um, it's interesting that crows, to ancient cultures, to the shamanic traditions, have particular significances. And the colour of things, to be the colour of night, has its own significance if we treat the world in a symbolic way. And yet, how terrible it must be to be maligned with being constantly cast as being the unlucky thing to behold. So, a moment of empathy and compassion for the black cats of this world. Now, what is it that makes us treat something in such a way that we would permanently associate it with a source of bad luck? People have this over the number 13, which I've come to learn it's now one of my lucky numbers. With the things that I've learned about the number 13, I now consider it a special number, and I feel sad for the fact that it has been disregarded by people as an unlucky number. And there are many things like that in this life where, because of a reflex, because of something we're told, we can suddenly think, that's it, I'm casting it out. And I suppose I'm going to, in my usual way of trying to bring substance to something that could otherwise be frivolous, just take a moment to think of what it is that we are casting out. What is it that we reject? And not just necessarily about other people, but even potentially about ourselves. What is it that we are willing to put out on the street? I mean, it's funny because as I say that, it reminds me of an article I wrote years ago about rubbish. What is it that we are able to just dispose of, to wrap in a black plastic bag so that nobody can see it anymore, and then just chuck it out there into the street, but ultimately returning it back to the earth? All the things that we didn't want, wrapped in plastic and buried in the ground. We live in strange times and we cast out a lot of things. For all our talk of inclusion, there's a hell of a lot that we cast out. So let's take a moment just to think about those things that we cast out, and to give a thought to black cats and how they are symbolic of that which is so commonly rejected.